clear to play.
Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, here to bring you a series of videos all about Star Wars X-Wing, the miniatures game. Now, we've already done a few battle reports on our site, but it's time for us to cover it a little more extensively because, well, I just got to tell you, I love this game. Because, well, I love Star Wars, and the greatest thing about Star Wars that I ever enjoyed was the ship-to-ship battles. Sure, the lightsaber battles were pretty cool too, but when you're looking at the TIE fighters and X-Wings and A-Wings and TIE bombers all swarming together amongst the big capital ships and having their big fights, that was always fun to watch. And now with the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures war game, or just miniatures game, however you want to look at it, you can reenact those in a fast-paced, easy-to-learn hybrid between a board game and a miniatures game, which is really cool. I love the fact that it's a hybrid because it appeals to the miniature wargaming market, where you get to collect all sorts of models, but it also appeals to the board game market because, well, for one thing, you don't have to paint them, which is a plus, and it's also against it a little bit if you're the type of person who loves to paint your miniatures. And it allows them to learn the rules nice and easy. Unlike other miniature war games like Warhammer 40K or War Machine, the X-Wing rules you can learn in one game. And then after that, you just have to learn the different pilots and the different special rules that they have. But it really is not that hard to learn, and it is a ton of fun. Fast-paced, quick games that allow you to reenact the fighter battles and ship-to-ship battles that you get to see in Star Wars. It's all based on the original Star Wars movies, not the new Star Wars, although it'd be awesome if they could eventually come up with that as well. So what I'm going to be doing in this series of videos is a series of unboxing. I'm going to start off with the actual starter set. This is what you buy to get going with the game. And then we're going to go into several of the other individual blisters that you can purchase, including the new B-Wing, which just came out. We picked these up at Gen Con 2013. The new TIE Bomber, the Lambda-class starship, and there's my knife to open it up, and, of course, the Hawk 290. These are the 4 new ships that we just picked up at Gen Con 2013, and so we'll be unboxing all of those as well. So, let's start with Star Wars X-Wing's miniature game. So inside of the Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game starter set is everything you need to get started playing. It comes with 3 ships, as you can see here, 2 TIE fighters, and 1 X-Wing, as well as all the gaming pieces that you need to play the game. Now, I'll tell you right off the bat, this isn't quite enough to really get into it. It's just enough to play a couple quick games, and then you're going to want to start buying some of the other expansions, all the other little miniatures. What I actually did is I bought 2 of these because it's such a good value, because you get the 3 miniatures plus all of those tokens, plus you'll get extra dice and everything like that. So it's about the same price as buying the 3 ships individually, and since you need more TIE fighters and X-Wing, it's nice to get a second one. However, having said that, it doesn't have all of the pilot cards that come available with the TIE Fighter and X-Wing, so you'll still want to buy at least one of the TIE Fighters and X-Wings individually as well. This is the type of game that you can spend as little or as much as you want. You can just go with this, which is usually retails around 50 bucks, or you can go bananas on it and buy lots of different blisters and build up a nice big force so you can play really big games. So let's take a look in the box. So as we open this up, we can see right away the 3 miniatures. So let's get those out. They come in this nice little handy dandy part here. We open that up, and there's our miniatures. We've got 2 TIE fighters, like I said. So put those aside. I'm just going to toss garbage to the side. We've got an X-Wing and another TIE fighter. And of course, it comes with the bases required to play. So the way that these bases work, we open these little baggies up, and you can hold on to as much or as little as this pack of material as you want. I actually found that a tackle box for fishing worked really well for storing my Star Wars X-Wing miniatures collection. And that was because I saw somebody else do that who came in with their collection. So the bases are formed of 3 pieces. 1 base, this is where you're going to end up putting your pilot cards, and that way you have ready access to the statistics of your pilots and everything that they can do. We'll show those in a second. And they come with these little pieces that allow you to extend the base and have the miniature flying above it. And they only fit together in one way, and there's even an arrow on the base to show you which way is forward. And so as we put these in, you've got to match them up. And then you stick your fighter on there, and it has to match up. And that way he's facing the same direction as the base. So you can see that was very, very easy to put together. No assembly required on the miniature, just on the base itself. And also no painting is required. And even if you're an avid hobbyist who likes to paint miniatures, this is a nice break from that. It allows you to pick up another game without having to invest a lot of hours into it. Because let's face it, whenever you want to play a new game, you've got to invest dozens, if not hundreds of hours into learning the game and painting the miniatures, which is fine, except that you might not have that time. The next thing is the cutouts. So this is where you have to do a little bit of assembly. It's really just punching them out of it. So let's open this up. Got my trusty knife, of course. Be careful not to cut yourself with whatever knives you're using. And put that down. This opens up, and this consists of a lot of different things. One thing that it consists of is your tokens. So for example, we have movement markers, and these are basically help you to move in the game. So you place this at the base of the miniature. Let's actually demonstrate that right here. So if a miniature is right here, let's put it right there, and he decides to move 3 to the left, you would put this, and there's little nubs where this fits in nice and snugly, and then you just move the miniature to the end of that. And that is the movement of the miniature. So it's really easy. It doesn't require measuring tapes or anything else like that. It just requires you to have a bunch of these templates. And it has all the ones required to move your ships. Not every ship uses all of these, but the starter sets comes with every type that you could ever run into with all of the various ships out there, including long movements, so you can move forward, sharp turns like the ones I just showed you right now, shorter, long movements, and then we get into the banking turns as well. So these are more gradual turns. So these are all the restrictions and the types of movements that you're able to do, and then each individual fighter has more restrictions. Also on this is a lot of different types of tokens. For example, the one with the eye, this one right here, that is the one for focusing. So some pilots will have the ability to focus, which allows them to have better accuracy in both attacking and defending. And then we have the evade token. Some fighters and their pilots are able to evade. And then we have the target lock tokens. And so these come in pairs, and they have different numbers, different letters on them. So this is the pair E, a blue and a red. One is for the person targeting, and one is for his target. So you place this by the miniature, he's targeting this guy, and that stays with him, if the guy is able to target, of course. And then it also comes with these nice numbers, and right here you can see them. I'll show a close up. And these numbers are handy because you might have 2 TIE fighters with exactly the same pilot. So how do you tell them apart? Well, you have this number and you stick it in his base. And so there, now that TIE fighter is number 9, and then you take the corresponding 9 and you put it on the pilot card, which I will be showing you in a second. And that way you're able to keep track of which pilot is which. It also comes with some tokens for missions, such as this one. So there's specific ones where you have to capture objectives. And let's see what else we have here. And this one's another token for missions. This is the Senator's Shuttle, so it's another ship, but you don't actually have a ship for it. It just is represented by a token on the battlefield. And it also comes with a bunch of asteroids, as you can see right here. And asteroids play a big part of the game because it forces you to have to maneuver more. So it comes with a full set of those. This is actually why I like to buy 2 of these starter sets, because then you get double the amount of asteroids. So if you want to reenact a really heavy asteroid field that you're going through, like with the Millennium Falcon perhaps being chased by TIE bombers and TIE fighters, you want to reenact that, well, now you can if you buy 2 of these. Now one of them is enough to cover your typical board, which is 3 feet by 3 feet. It's just that it gives you a little more variety. We also have shield tokens, so you're able to keep track of how many shields are left. We have critical tokens. We've got, I'm trying to remember what this one is. I honestly don't remember. Somebody can probably point it out in the description or in the comments below. And then we have stress tokens. So certain maneuvers will stress out the pilot, making it so that he's not able to do good maneuvers in future turns. Okay, and then we have some other important things. We have the pilots. So these tokens look like this, and they have a quick reference to your stats and the actions the pilot is able to take. So this is the Academy pilot, and it shows you even his pilot skill, his attack, his defense, and everything else, all the different actions he's able to do, his hull points or hit points, his shields, and his actions. So you just pop out that center there, and then what you can do is before you put the miniature on the base, you put the pilot card down. Now there's a different pilot on the other side, so you got to choose which one you want. This is also another reason to have more than one of the same type so that you can have the same pilot, although most of them come with enough of each. And it has your firing arc on it as well, so it shows you exactly where you can fire. So this is the completed miniature right here, unless you also need to put a token to show what number he is. So it gives you a quick reference to your stats. If there's like super special rules, you'll have to refer to the pilot card, which we'll see in a second. And lastly, it also comes with the movement token, or the movement dial, whatever you want to call that. And we'll just make sure we match those up properly. So basically this is in a few pieces. Okay, we've got here, I'll show it right here. We've got the bottom part, which is all the different movements you can do, and then we've got the top part, which is going to go on top. And then in secret, before each player goes, you all secretly choose what each pilot is going to do in terms of a maneuver. So that's the cool part, is that you don't actually know where your opponent is going to go, and it's very important that you try to guess where he's going to go and be in the best position possible. It also comes with the black pieces that you stick in here to make this so that it holds together, so you don't have to hold it yourself. Obviously that would be a problem. So let's just put that aside for now until we find those pieces. And it comes with exactly as many as you need for the ships that you have. So it has 2 TIE Fighter 1s and 1 X-Wing 1. And all the expansions have exactly the dial that you need for them as well. So anything else on these? No, that's everything. Everything else is just duplicates of the same thing that I have already shown you. And of course it comes with a little catalog so you can peruse other products. And it comes with tells about the different expansions that you can get. It doesn't have everything on here now that they've come out with new stuff, but that is available as well. It comes with a Quickstart rule guide. So this is a really, really quick way to be able to get into the game. It shows you exactly what you need just to play a quick game and get into it. And so I used this the first time I played, and that was really useful. And then it comes with the full rule book. Now the full rule book, unlike other games, is rather small. However, there are some intricacies in it, so as you play it, make sure you reread the rules, because there are a few things that you'll be doing wrong. I can guarantee it, that you won't get them all right the first time, and that's okay. Just make sure you reread them a couple of times. This goes over all the different rules that you have to play the game in its full abilities, and it also comes with a few scenarios that you can play. So they're back here. So we have the different scenarios that you can play. And the expansions with the blisters actually come out with new scenarios sometimes too. And then on the very back is a quick reference sheet, which is very handy as you're learning the game. And then here are the dice. It comes with all the dice necessary. Now, it doesn't come with quite enough dice. I'll tell you that right now. It comes with 3 red, which is your attack dice. And let's put those right here. And 3 green, which are your evading dice. Now, the way the dice work is for every attack that you have, you roll a red die. And there's hits on it, like those. There's focus on it, and that's where we talked about being focused to turn these into hits. And there's also critical hits, that has a circle in it. And then the evade one has something similar, except it has evade marks and focus marks. So if you're focusing, when you roll this die and you roll the focus, then you get to evade more. Now the problem is, there are a lot of things that can use more than 3 dice on either side. Most commonly you'll be rolling 2 and 3 dice, but sometimes you'll be rolling 4, and sometimes even more than that. So 3 on each is enough, because you can just remember what you rolled and roll another die. But it is nice to buy a second set in order to get another set of dice. You can buy the dice individually, but because I so strongly recommend buying a second set of the board, or the starter set itself, you don't really need to buy a second set of dice after that, because you'll have everything you need. It also comes with all of your damage cards and upgrade cards. So those are right here. So we both have our damage cards, and these are critical damage. So whenever you get hit by a critical and you don't have any shields left, if you had any to begin with, then these are shuffled and you pick one up and it tells you what happens. And they're usually ongoing effects, and they describe exactly how they get resolved. And then we have upgrade cards right here. And These are used to upgrade your pilots with different abilities. Every pilot has a certain number of upgrades they're allowed to take. On the back of the card, it shows you what type of upgrade it is, from a pilot upgrade to getting an R2 unit in there, to even having proton torpedoes. Obviously, that goes in the X-Wing. And so these are good. These are really useful for upgrading your pilot. It also adds some variety to the game. Speaking of pilots, we also have the pilot cards. So let's open those up. And so this is where you get some variety, that you don't have to just play the same X-Wing every single time. We've got, looks like 4 different X-Wing pilots. Okay, so we can see them all right here. They all have the same stat line for the ship, because the ship doesn't change, but what you're going to see different is that each of them have their own pilot skill. The higher, the better. And then at the bottom of the card, you can see that they have access to different upgrades. And then they each have their own special rules. So we have Luke Skywalker, for example, and then we've got Biggs Darklighter, we got a Red Squadron pilot, and a rookie pilot. Now, when you buy the actual X-Wing blister, you get access to even more pilots. Same thing with the TIE Fighter variant as well. And they give you enough that you can use the same guy twice, as long as he's not a named character, because you can't use more than one named character. So if you, for example, if you want, let's see, Black Squadron pilot, there's 2 of those. Or the Academy pilot, there's 2 of those. So you can have duplicates if you like. And lastly, it comes with your lightsaber stick. Green, of course, on the one side, and red on the other, which is very important. So you can use this to have lightsaber fights. Not really. What you actually use it for is to measure your range. What you do is you put your ship down, and you put this up against your ship, and you're able to see how far away things are, if they're in the first range, second range, or third range. And that affects how well you can shoot at them, and how well they can evade. The last thing I didn't show you when I opened it at one point, these are the little black tokens here. I'll show them right here. And these are used to put this together, so we can stick one on the one side and one on the other. And sometimes they take a little bit of fiddling to get them exactly right, but we'll just put that one loose for now, and you can see that it holds it together. So now we have our little dial, which is nice. Just got to make sure you push them together. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of elbow grease. So there is the unboxing of the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game. Everything you need to play at least a good starter game of X-Wing. So I strongly recommend you go to your local gaming store or go online to your favorite online shop and pick up 2 of these if you want to try out Star Wars X-Wing, the miniature game. It's a lot of fun, and that's all I can really say about it. Go and check it out. This is Matthew from MiniWarGaming. Stay tuned for more unboxing as we look at the other blisters and the expansions that come with this. Happy wargaming.